I'm at this point a 36-year-old guy, and me and my friend who is the same age as me and her went to a book event. Busy. Anyway, the book event was amazing, and there was all these different places, different publishers represented and so on. It was more of a selling old stock type event, but you know what? It was fun. But then we saw a certain red sign that made us go, we need to go in there. So we wound up in the Scholastics section, and I thought it's going to be like a little stall or a small room. No, it was a full-blown Scholastics book fair for basically adults. There were kids there, but it was mainly adults. And all those memories came flooding back. Like, my sensory memory is really good, and all I could smell was that smell of the Scholastics book fair. It smelt like the school gym. Yeah. Now, I was very lucky growing up. You know, if I wanted a book, I could have it. That was a rule. If I wanted a book, I can have the book. And I remember that feeling of walking in there and being super excited. Like, my mother would always splurge on books. So would Dad, if you want the honest truth, they both would, because they're both readers as well, which helps. But we walked in this room, and there were the tables with the plastic tablecloths on, Clifford the Big Red Dog, the signs, there was fluffy pens, scented erasers. Oh, it was magical. And we walked in, and it was just that feeling of like, we're back here. We both spent too much money. Some things we definitely got for nostalgia's sake. I bought a few books that I'm missing from my collection, because I still have all my books from childhood. Mostly. There are a handful that have gone missing over the years, but those gaps in those collections have been filled nicely. And the memories of Goosebumps and Animorphs, like my two main ones were Animorphs and Goosebumps, and I have all of those, and I did buy the nostalgia tins. These tins are amazing, by the way. Yeah, anyway, I'm not gonna gush about nostalgia for millennials. But we did have this moment, we're both the same age, we're both 36, and we were looking around like, we're adults and we're about to buy our childhoods. And there were parents there were kids, there were predominantly parents and people who worked in education buying books. And we just ended up splurging. We spent money, by the way, it's when you realise that my friend's car, the entire back of the car was filled with books. Like, it was bad, but all those memories came flooding back, and I'm like, why do we not have more of this? I couldn't resist it. I couldn't absolutely resist it. There was a lot of, there was a lot, and I had to laugh because there was my friend, and she had to buy herself the fruit-scented erasers and the fluffy pens and a fluffy notebook with a panda on it. Which she's using for work. But it was like the smell, it was like walking into the Scholastics book fair. I got talking to a lot of people, and it was really cool. There was a few people there like, oh yeah, I run a local library, I do this, I do that, I work in education. A few parents buying the reading list, some of the books for their kids or for reading list. A few adults there like us who were just there from the nostalgia. One guy was like, I didn't plan on buying anything, but I now own the complete set of Goosebumps. You should see what's there. Down there. But yeah, I love these events and just all of those memories. The smells, the sounds, being so excited. I didn't know they still had the pieces of paper, like the catalogue sheet things you would get. I don't know what they were called. I always remember that and taking it home. And my mother was never stupid. You know, it was like, okay, you can pick X amount of books. That's it. And you can get 2, 3 things if there's any money left over. And that's what we always did. My school had the Scholastics book fair, but they would also do they'll do a winter book fair, which was all second-hand. And that was just as fun, by the way. That was so random what you would find, and ironically I own some first editions of some now very collectible children's books from those growing up. I just get my head around just walking into this space and being confronted with the 90s nostalgia, and like there was barely any like new fiction for children from the I found very interesting. It was mainly I think this was stock. We need to get rid of stock because everything was discounted. So that's what the theme of this was. It was publishers, it was other things, and it was just, we need to clear out the dead stock. That's basically what this was. But my God, did I go a little crazy. And just sort of the memories. And did I buy pens with dolphins in them and some other stuff? And yes. I am a grown-up. I am a grown-up. But just that childish glee. And we came back to my house, and me and my friends sat in the living room. We ended up sitting on, I've got these sort of stupid cushion things you can sit on the floor. I know this is completely not important information. And we ended up going through everything that we got. And it was just that sheer glee of, I'm an adult with adult money. But we all felt like kids again. And I think, you know what? It's what I needed. There'd been a lot of stress and the trapped nerve and pain recently, but the actual just fun. It was fun, and I recommend reading the Animorphs books. Nothing beats children's books about PTSD, child soldiers, and countless other things in a science fiction setting. I mean, but just really, it was nice. And everyone there was really cool. They even had a little coffee shop where we could sit down and rest because we're old. I just had, I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist doing what I did. And we're gonna go again when it's next year. We had a laugh, and it was needed. It was, there is my childhood in front of me. You know, sometimes I think we need that. It was just this experience. And why, I go to a lot of book events and fairs, and sometimes they can be amazing, and other times they can be so dry. Although I giggled a little bit because there was this whole rack of Taylor Swift products. And I'm not a Swiftie. I have no problems with her before everyone comes at me, but I'm just not it's not my type of music. But I did laugh because it's like not much has changed, because I remember those racks when I was a kid being S Club 7, Steps and the Spice Girls and Britney. So nothing has changed. I couldn't resist it. And you know what? If you guys want to know more about this stuff, I'm quite happy to talk about it. Like, millennial nostalgia is a thing, and just, I think sometimes we need to escape reality and stop being adults for a little while. And, oh, there was a great stand with a series of unfortunate events. That was in another room though, that's not Scholastic. But the whole thing was amazing. And it was clearance, like I said, it was complete clearance, but it was just glee and fun. And no, I don't regret spending the money that I did, but I did have a moment where I looked at my online banking and went, oh dear. Pure and utter glee, and just the nostalgia and those smells and all of that stuff, it all just hit back in this amazing wave of everything. So I'll talk to you guys later. Like, subscribe, do the usual, and hopefully you'll have